reason why it is high, what are the pressures, what are the stresses, what are the drivers, but also gave us some points to be optimistic in your last slides. Thank you for that. Now let us move on to the last presentation of this session. Now I would like to invite Professor Oleg Ruchayskiy. He is a COO, Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Prophy, which is based in Denmark. He will be talking about revolutionizing scholarly publishing, how Prophy's journey of innovation and empowerment actually taking place. I can see him on the screen, but before we go to him, let me share the brief bio on him. Professor Ruchayskiy, he did his Ph.D. at the University of Chicago, where he worked on or learned about physics and computers and developed his skills. Now he is based at the University of Copenhagen, where he is the leader in particle physics, artificial intelligence, and semantic technology. Oleg is also an entrepreneur. He co-founded, as I mentioned, Prophy to revolutionize scholarly publishing, and we will be hearing from him about that. He drives innovative AI-driven solutions that empower researchers worldwide. His visionary leadership and scientific expertise shape Prophy's mission to transform peer review, making it more efficient, transparent, and collaborative. With a passion for driving positive changes in academia, his unique blend of expertise and innovation is driving the organization's mission to reshape the future of the scholarly communication. Now the screen is yours.
Thank you very much for the invitation and the possibility to speak. So let me share my slides, make sure that you... Can you see my slides well? Okay, so
yes, I can see it.
Thank you very much. Continuing a very kind of lively and discussion about the status of the publishing and challenges we face. Let me bring my perspective on the particular aspect of the scholarly publishing, namely on the peer review, to which Prophy is trying to contribute by making it more balanced, more unbiased, and more just and more efficient also. So let's start with putting a stage. What is happening now? We all know that the amount of publications grows every year. Not only we publish more and more every year. And in the past, peer review was not a problem because the community of scientists was small and it was easy for an expert to know all the experts in his or her corresponding field, to find the appropriate one, to invite them, and have a peer review done. The situation is changing and changing rapidly. Not only number of publications grows, you can see in this case with the biomed publications, but also the number of open access publications is on the rise. And if you would continue this trend, at some moment it would blow up exponentially. Open access publications, it's not only journals with their APC charges and a different model of access, it's also preprints pioneered by arXiv, but now widely accepted by many communities. It's also hybrid types of publications where boundary between a peer-reviewed publication and preprint gets more and more murky. It means that we are facing a completely different wave of publication. So if it used to be few in the area, today, according to the Prophy database, we publish about 8 million documents per year across all the disciplines. Given that some of the manuscripts require not even one, but several reviewers, it means that we need 10 millions of reviewers per year. Of course, people can review several documents, but still, it's a huge number. It's a number comparable with the total size of the research pool, especially of its expert part. That's our challenge. But that's not the only challenge. On top of that, traditional boundaries between sciences become more blurred, and we can find more and more interdisciplinary research published more and more often. So, for example, here you see how the number of references in a given discipline to papers from the other discipline grows in time, both in natural sciences and in social sciences. And this makes not only peer review, it makes peer review also more demanding, because it means that a given manuscript should have experts from different specialties, from different subject areas, which of course makes a traditional approach when editor just knows all the experts in the field impossible, because now you have to know all the experts in all the other fields as well. And here you can see the same statistic which I withdraw from Prophy's knowledge base, where we see that an average diversity of terms which appear in the document grow with time. And we see that indeed, we can confirm it from our own data, interdisciplinarity is on the rise. On top of that, this was the objective question of just getting access to the correct experts. But on top of that, there's a question of fairness and equitability of peer review. Apart from all the misconducts which the previous talk outlined in excessive details, and I'm very grateful for a lot of interesting information, we see that people are very often facing this situation of what we call subconscious bias. When, for example, number of female authors, percentage of female authors is greater than percentage of female reviewers. Moreover, even female editors, even female authors would suggest male peer reviewers more often than on average, which means that even people ourselves are not delivering the balanced view of gender and also of the statistics of the kind of different regions of the world. And all this needs to be taken care. So how do we propose to access this? So we cannot use editorial networks. We cannot ask authors for suggestions. We can, but this is an unsustainable model, and we have to do something about this. We need embedded fairness into choice of our peer reviewers. And we have to, or we must, I would say, to utilize the huge data of open access publications. It's our new big data. It's not anymore behind the paywall. It's open not only for reading, but also for data mining. This is it's a treasure, and we cannot just ignore it and not to use it to teach us how to do the peer review. So here we come to how Prophy proposes to address this problem, and we are doing this for 6 years now. So it's kind of a work that has been demonstrated by the time. So as thousands of manuscripts get published all over the world, we assemble them into what we call Prophy knowledge base, which contains about 160 million of papers and about 70 million of authors. It's how many people have ever published anything. And to this layer of data, we add the layer of annotation. We take every paper and we annotate it with scientific concepts. We bring different scientific aspects of the document into the light. We extract order 200 concepts from a given manuscript. And this is our annotation. It's of course much bigger than any keyword annotation you can imagine, because nobody, even the author of the paper, cannot assign 200 keywords to a document. Our automated system can. And we have the ontology which automatically grows and develops in time. Once we've done that, we go to the next layer, to the layer of artificial intelligence, and we map this scientific concepts, a big cloud, into certain space where semantic similarities between the concepts are taken care of. So not only we can match words keyword by keyword, we just understand that two completely different words mean similar things. And so if the paper one mentions one thing and paper two mentions another thing, they're actually related. And with all this, we're able to take a paper, to map it into the cloud of concepts, to go to our ontology, to see which ones are related, and to build what we call a semantic fingerprint. a unique machine processable object with which we can uniquely characterize a page. And each of our 160 million papers has such a fingerprint. And any document which comes to our system, any PDF file, can be annotated and assigned such a fingerprint on the fly. And while, as soon as this happens, we're able to take any two papers and compare them. If their fingerprints are similar, the papers are similar. What's even more, we can take every author and take all the papers he or she have co-authored and deliver a fingerprint of a person if you want his or her expertise profile. And therefore, we can match a document to a person, and there are many people who are kind of similar to a document. And this creates for you a pool of potential experts, those who can be a reviewer of the document. So how this works? Any PDF, any manuscript which appears in Prophy gets matched to our whole database of 70 million people. And we bring those who come on top of this comparison to the attention of the editor of the journal with whom we are working. And after that, we give an editor, although this is a kind of automated process driven by artificial intelligence semantic technologies, now there is a most important part. We give the editor a possibility to say who is the best reviewer. Because we don't believe that there is such thing as a single best reviewer. There's a big group of people who can, in principle, review a given manuscript. And then editors can select this based on various criteria. So what can be this criteria? Well, first of all, here you can see a screenshot of our system where we are working with a typical multidisciplinary paper. It's public health, epidemiology, machine learning. So there are several disciplines. There should be, in principle, several experts to this manuscript. We identify the conflicts of interest. We automatically see that certain people work together, either on same documents, or they were co-authors, or they shared affiliation in some not very distant past. We can decide which of the group of the concepts, which of the topic of the document should be emphasized. So, for example, do we want to emphasize public health or machine learning? Or we can interchangeably switch the two. And then we also are able to filter on recency, on seniority of the person, on gender of the people. We have specific filter which can tell us, give us only people with affiliation in Asia or in Africa or in Europe or in any particular country, for example, India, China, Pakistan, each of the countries in the world. So not only we can specifically tune the system to propose us only female reviewers or only reviewers from Asia, we give the editor a possibility to diversify their pool of researchers. And in this way, because our initial suggestion is based merely on the expertise of the people. We don't care about where did they publish, who they are. It's fully the expertise of their works which builds the initial fingerprint, which allows us to bring all the relevant people on top, no matter how known or unknown are their affiliations, and so on. And for every person whom we propose in our system, it is possible to look inside. There's a special block which explains to the editor why we propose this person. It's not only we say, oh, our algorithm suggests this person. We say, okay, our algorithm suggests this person because these 5 documents of this author match very closely a manuscript you are reviewing. And because a concept cloud of this person is similar to the concept cloud you are reviewing by this, and this all aspect. So even if you are not an expert if there is no direct expert on the document he or she is reviewing, that we give them explanation which allows them to see why this has been suggested. I propose to everybody who is interested to go to this link or to this QR code, they point to the same thing, and register there and receive a 1 month of free trial for this tool. There are no strings attached, no commitments, no whatever You just need to register with your email address, and that's it. You're welcome to contact me if you want to know how to use the tool, if you need a kind of walk through the system. But I believe that the product is good enough to speak for itself. So I invite you to try. All the information you upload to the system is completely private. It's not shared with anybody. We don't use it for analysis. We don't index it. We don't care. We sell the service of reviewer finding. We are not trying to sell people's data. So on this note, I would like to summarize. What's my conclusion? We are in the era of open access journals, and we are in the era of artificial intelligence and powerful semantic and technological advances. We are able to accumulate the big data of publications, data mine it, machine learn it. We are able to do unimaginable things. This gives us access to essentially every scientist in the world. We know what they are doing. We know what their best expertise is. And in principle, we can reach to each of them. And we need to evaluate how we find reliable referees, because we want to ensure that peer review, which is a core of scientific process, which is the core of scientific publishing, is robust, is unbiased, it's scalable. And we hope that our contribution to the field will help to accelerate science forward and to give transparency and trust. And thank you for your attention and for the invitation to speak.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your fantastic presentation. It is so interesting, you know, how you have designed the whole structure, the whole process, and develop fingerprinting not only for the papers but also the authors, so that editors can be well equipped to find the proper reviewer. And I like the idea of how it can contribute to inclusion and diversity, which is often a challenge, as we have heard in different presentations. Thank you very much for that. And I'm sure, thank you for offering to use it by sharing the QR code. I'm sure many of them, and I can see the link of Prophy in the chat box as well. Now,